I'll have Chester Davis say a prayer for us.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our gracious Heavenly Father, it is in the name of Jesus that we bow humbly before you. Thank you, O God, for allowing us to come together, not only for the meeting of the city, but to fellowship one with another. We pray now, God, that you will guide our hearts and our mind, O God, as they conduct the business of the city. We also, O God, ask that you help us to love one another in spite of all things, that we'll care, O God, for the city and the business thereof. We pray, O God, now that you will remember, O God, this state, this United States as a whole. Oh God, that you keep us together as a unit. We again thank you so much for this meeting tonight, and we pray, oh God, that your will be done in this meeting. This we ask in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. I call the meeting to order now, but the first thing I'd like to address, is there anybody here tonight about a water increase? There's nothing on our agenda about a water increase. I understand it was on your bill. There is a water increase. There is a sewer increase. We fought to keep that increase from being 5% on the water and the sewer. We got it to come down to $2.75 and $3.75. So, I mean, there is no meeting on the water tonight. That was discussed when we were having our budget meeting and all. But a little later in the meeting, when our citizens' time to talk, if there's anyone here that would like to speak on water, they certainly may do so. So please stay. If you want to speak, we'll be glad to listen to what you have to say about water. But the increase is already in effect. We did the best we could to keep it to a minimum. So we did save you some money, but we couldn't save it all. We tried. We really did. And we didn't raise any taxes. So, you know, we got to compromise somewhere. And I know the water is a big issue with everybody, and I feel for you also. But we are fixing to do some things with our water that hopefully going to improve it again. A lime system we'll put in, over $200,000. Anyway, please stay if you want to speak in the mic. Okay, I thought I was a wild talker. But anyway, if you want to stay and speak about water, whether it be quality of water, price of water, please stay, and when it comes time for the citizens' comments, Billy was talking about water. If you want to talk about it, we'll open it up for discussion later in the night. But as I told everybody, it has been done. The water rates are going up. There was nothing we could do to keep them down more than what we did. They were going up 5% each. We come down to 2.75 and 3.75. And with our debt service that we owe money to, our hands are tied. We try every year not to have any. But as I say again, if anybody wants to speak on that, I'll be glad to let you speak when it comes to time for citizens to speak. Okay? There was a mistake on your water bill. I didn't even know it was on the water bill.
Mayor, what I was going to tell you was we need to table it tonight on there. It was on the water bill on there. It was a mistake by not having it on the agenda tonight on there. It was a fail by staff to put that on the agenda tonight. It will be tabled until the next meeting. That way you can have a public hearing on it and get all the public input if it's so wish of the board.
Do we need a motion?
Motion. You motion to table that item until the next meeting. Yes.
we have a motion. We have a motion to table this. Motion by Commissioner Thursby, second by Commissioner Asbrook. All in favor say aye. All opposed say no. No. Motion passes 4-1.
Mayor, that meeting will actually be on the 20th. The 20th of October, the next meeting is the regular meeting of the City Commission.
Okay. First order tonight is the consent agenda. We have, and please remember, if you want to talk tonight, sign in up here at the podium. There's a sheet you can sign in if we need to speak. We have several of these meetings. We got 1, 2, 3, 4 of them. We'll approve them all at one time. There was a regular meeting on 9/15, a special meeting on 9/15. special meeting on 9/21. Do I have a motion to approve those minutes? I have a motion by Commissioner McCrone, second. By Commissioner Thursby. All in favor say aye. Aye. Motion passes 5-0. At this time, we'll have a gentleman here. I'm sorry I can't get your name, but I know your name. We can't take it. No, let me go first. He's got some money for us.
Good evening. Thank you for allowing me to present an important grant award to your community. Thank you, Mayor and Commissioners and community. My name is Mark Napke. I'm the Park Manager at St. Joseph Peninsula State Park and the Constitution Convention Museum State Park. The Department of Environmental Protection, who I work for, is proud to administer a program called the Florida Recreation Development Assistance Program. This program is a competitive grant program that funds the acquisition for development of lands for public outdoor recreational use. This year, we are proud that we are able to invest more than $5.4 million in 110 development projects throughout Florida. Today, I have the honor to present to you and your community a Florida Recreation Development Assistance Program grant check for the sum of $50,000 for the Forest Park South Improvement Project. These funds will pay for new playground equipment, renovation of playground, picnic facilities, and restroom facilities. Congratulations on the grant award, and I look forward to joining you again as we celebrate progress on this project.
Great.
Thank you.
Everybody get in here so we can get everybody. All right, Mark, thank you. Appreciate it. All right, next on the agenda is Port St. Joseph Redevelopment Agency, Bill Kennedy.
Good evening. I'll be brief. We have a long agenda tonight. Some updates on some projects. The open air project on 4th and Monument. We're waiting for USDA to have a post-obligation meeting in late October. So we're doing nothing right now on that project. Can't do anything until we have that meeting. We're in the process of designing the Phase 5 landscaping project. We've already seen a draft design. It's not much different than the other one we saw in the past, but it's in the design process now. Washington Gym landscaping for the playground will begin on the week of October 12th. Any questions about that?
Bill, could you tell everybody where the Phase 5 is, for those that don't know what part that is?
Yeah, Phase 5 landscaping is it's on 98, or I guess it's still Monument Avenue, in front of Dollar General. It goes all the way to the bridge on one side, and of course to the bridge on the other side. It's that last section has not been landscaped yet.
We've been talking about it a long time. I mean, there was probably some pieces that didn't know what we were at.
Right. We're revising the downtown maps as well. All the changes have been made, and those have gone to print. They're making the last few changes. They'll be printed here shortly. George Core Park, we're finishing up the master plan. We'll need to have another big workshop with that. We're making some more changes based on some input, and hopefully some input from the Scala Festival folks as well. We'll have another workshop on that here soon. And we're in the process of developing specifications for improvements to the keeper's quarters. The Power Big Energy actually sent us an invoice today. And the power invoice was, we have that now, so we should have power here soon. Any questions on that?
share the mic.
Page 12 of your agenda package is the resolution in support of the Gulf County Emergency Management Plan. Is that better or worse? We need a motion to pass that.
We got a motion by Commissioner Wizard, second by Commissioner McCrone. All in favor say aye. Aye. Motion passes 5-0.
That's all I've got unless you have questions.
This next item's not yours. Next item's not yours.
No.
Okay, next item we have on the agenda is the public hearing, development order request for Gateway Apartments and Macy's Foundation. Before we get started, I'll say that we've already had 2 recommendations to approve this project. First of all, our building inspector says everything that needed to be done was done, the I's are dotted, the T's are crossed. He recommends that we go ahead with it. The Planning and Review Board met yesterday, and they voted to approve this project. Now it's coming to the City Commissioners of Port St. Joe to make the final decision. Is there anybody in this town would like to be heard in the audience on this? Anybody in the audience? Let me see your sign-in sheet, Jim. We'll go just like they are online. And remember please what I said. A lot of this stuff has been hashed out in several meetings, and there's no reason to hash out the same things. Whether they're bringing us townhomes, whether they're bringing us garden-style apartments. I think everybody, if you don't know what they're building, please raise your hand and we'll let you know what they're building out there. If there's anybody confused as to what kind of building is going on, we'll be glad to let you know exactly. So this time I was out yesterday.
My name is Chester Davis. I live at 282 Avenue D, Port St. Joe, pastor of Philadelphia Premier Baptist Church. I first of all just want to thank the City and the Marriage Committee for the job well done on the choosing of this company. We had looked at the community by going out and trying to help and assist people in their quest for appropriate housing, affordable housing. And what I did, I went out and drove my truck through the backside of that area. And I was hoping that somehow the city, if they possibly could maybe look at different back ways of coming into that new area out there. I've been out there playing from the time I was a little child to up in age. But there are different avenues I think we can use if the city would, investigate, different ways of coming in and out, which will solve some of the questions that was there. The other thing was that the community, even though we talked about the need of this right here, I really think that we have not looked at the question of what can be done as far as the affordability of people who maybe have background checks or something like that, have that verified in the contract that's coming. Other than that, I just want to thank the city because I believe we have the people in place that knows how to check things out well enough that they can make a proper decision on what has to be done. I thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next we have Ms. Christy McElroy.
Hi guys. I hope you enjoyed your time away, Mayor. Can you? Chris, can you? It's. Can you hear me now? Okay. I don't want to rehash a lot of things. I do appreciate the fact that, you gentlemen have had several public hearings. As you know, our PDRB board meeting yesterday, it was not well attended. It was at 4 o'clock and it was here. During the vote, you know, we were sort of, and this is no offense to our chairman, I understand it completely. There's different interpretations. Some of our board felt like we should have been able to voice certain concerns, but our chair made the decision to call for the vote. So I'm not going to rehash the technical aspects. The vote was 5-4, 4 against, 5-4. So, and it was based off the technical information that was submitted. And there were a few errors in the technical information that were submitted. On the meeting of the 22nd, that was well attended by the public, and we decided as a board to table this. It was a unanimous vote. There were a couple of questions that I asked the PACES people and was told that, you know, they'd be getting back to me. I'm a girl that kind of dives into the numbers. The numbers tell the story. And I got to touch on the numbers a little bit last night, but there wasn't an audience here. So again, because I asked for this on the meeting on the 22nd, it wasn't supplied to me, so I went out and again, chased this information down, thanks to Commissioner Quinn as well, helping along the way and dove a little deeper into it. I think it's important that we kind of look and understand these applications. So the first application that was made was for garden style apartments. We discussed that in a little bit at the budget meeting. It was for 62 garden style apartments. It was under a application for small and medium counties, okay? The application, when it's all said and done, with all the money going in and out, et cetera, was roughly about close to $12 million. So that application didn't pass in Tallahassee. So then there was a second application. And that's kind of what I want to dive into, because this application was now for rural areas. So the application was changed. There was also another change. As far as Mark DeMoss, he changed from being the president and general partner to the manager of Gateway Townhomes, St. Joe LLC. So I thought that was sort of interesting. And then as you start going into it, I started comparing the numbers, and I won't go into the comparison because really, whether it was the 12 million or now the 7.2 million application that's in front of me, a lot of the professional fees were very similar. So just to give the public an understanding, for example, architect fees. The architect's going to make $205,000 off of this. As far as engineering fees, $167,000. And that includes soil and survey. Of course, it says actual construction costs were $4.1 million, but I keep hearing this number 4.6. So I'm a little concerned about, you know, where's that other $500,000 or $600,000? Legal fees, Tom, you're gonna love this, $70,000. Yeah, I know. And this is the last point.
Yeah, 2 more minutes, please.
And I'm going to wrap this up, Mr. Mayor. I sure do appreciate your indulgence. The other thing that I think is very important, and we just talked about water and everything, and this morning I heard something that was kind of disturbing, that they're asking for waiving of impact fees. Well, utility connection in this contract, in this application that went to Tallahassee and was approved, it's $60,000 they get for utility connection fee. So, because everybody is stressed out about water, utilization, I hope that we're going to charge for the impact fees, because they're getting a line item in this application of $60,000. I'm going to stop there, gentlemen. This is really fascinating information. I'm going to pass this on to Ms. Charlotte along with the application for 2013, and I hope you gentlemen will take the time to look at this, and I hope the public will too. Thank you.
Thank you, Kirsten. Next on the list is Larry Clark. Larry, there's somebody.
Larry Cook.
The water bill, it wasn't the apartment.
Oh, okay, all right. Okay, now, we're not talking water tonight, no, sir. A little bit later, we're gonna make a comment again. Yes, sir.
I would like to talk to you after the meeting, because I have a strong verbiage for you.
Okay, all right. All right, Ms. Alice Morgan?
My name is Alice Martin. I live at 602 Marvin Avenue. I have my notice copies I'd like to hand to each one of the members, if I may.
Ms. Martin, just for the record, your vote last night was a yes vote, is that correct?
I will explain that when I get there. I do have one, and I'll give mine to Mr. Dennis when I'm done. As it is tonight, very hard to hear what happens as far as vocal. I did vote yes for this to move into the hands of the city commissioners. I did not approve or disapprove that a housing complex or apartment complex be placed in any area. As Mr. Creel stated, the proposal plans, as presented by PACES, did meet the LDR. We were held accountable to only the LDR. We did not have, I didn't feel like we could speak or ask questions in regards to any other areas of concerns from a community point of view, I guess. So I've made a few notes of just, it's more or less informational for the board, and a couple of statements. I feel it incumbent upon responsible local officials, developers, lenders, realtors, planners in the development community to work toward a system of sustainable home ownership. Though I understand we need a certain number of rentals, in my opinion, we need to be absolutely sure that we properly plan for our city to balance housing types and create economical, integrated, and sustainable neighborhoods over the long term. From a planning perspective, your planning board, or perhaps you may want to choose another committee, could or would have or be allowed to have more input. Just a couple of questions for the board and for maybe future use. Have we requested any input from any other city, such as Apalachicola or Panama City, that we have an established housing authority, since we are looking at rental apartments for input or interest? Like that would be absolutely owned by the city. It would be a city business. That would keep your dollars going back into the community. Have we requested input from other entities to visit our city for input for single-family affordable homes that could be purchased? It is also my understanding that this program was bought early on, and I'm in kind of the tail end of it. But it was my understanding that tax credits were a large push to make this happen. Tax credits are only granted to rental programs, is my understanding. I would ask, does the PACES group or PACES Foundation, do they offer affordable homeownership with any kind of standard fixed payment, fully amortized home loans that could help sustain the American dream of home ownership for everyone who has the desire, ability, and willingness to work toward it? Or
do we just offer rental complexes? I don't, and from an informational standpoint, I would like to share that it is my understanding that you don't have to make a decision tonight. It is my understanding that BASIS has been granted a mid-August 2016 extension, that their financing will be out there. So I don't want you, my board, to feel pressure at this point this evening. I also am concerned about what happens to stormwater management, to the discharge, and to the adjacent properties as mentioned in the GO survey report, because when you have to build on a grade, or your neighbor does, or your neighbor adds dirt, the water is going somewhere. And I have personal experience from that because I live on Marvin Avenue on Paper Mill Bark and Lime, and it does sink, and you do have to backfill, and my neighbor could afford dirt, and I'll put it. I would ask, and
Ms. Adams, I give you 2 more minutes, okay?
I will share this document with Mr. Dennis. I would ask, does the PACES Foundation have any hard dollars into this project as of yet? If they do, what does the PACES Foundation have in place to best preserve their assets? Will they be exempt from property taxes? And then from a management or housing project standpoint, to make it short, who will monitor? Will they have someone there 24/7 for safety? And the last thing I'll share is my understanding that most affordable housing operators face a split incentive in residents in tax credited funded housing may pay their own energy bill while the building management covers water and sewer costs. But since this program did not receive tax credit overall, how will the tenants be charged for their water, sewer, garbage, and electricity? How's that going to work for the owner, the manager, the tenants? I did call today to Liberty Manor, which is on Garrison Avenue, just to get a basis, a ballpark of their rent, which is $584. The tenant pays the electricity only. They do have a full house, and they do have a waiting list. So there is a need for housing in Port St. Joe. But it's in your hands as to what type you're going to put where. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Now, Mr. Myers, you don't want to talk on this thing.
You know what I want.
Okay. Sandy Queen.
Sandy Quinn, District 4, County Commissioner, Gulf County. Let me start by saying I am not against affordable housing. I don't know how my words keep getting twisted, but at the last meeting I stated I am not against affordable housing. As County Commissioner in District 4, I asked the Gulf County Board of County Commissioners, and I made the motion to support the PACES Foundation with $300,000 of taxpayers' money. At the time when I asked the board and made the motion, we were under the impression that the PACES Foundation was planning on building townhouses and using local contractors. They came back and I met with them once again, and that's when I found out that the plans had been changed. I explained to them that they need to meet or they need to advertise in the local newspaper and invite the community, invite the public, so that they could explain why the plans had changed. I ask that you vote yes tonight based on one contingency, that Mr. Dumas will agree in writing to build what he originally told us that he was going to build for our community. If he can't agree in writing, then let's all go back to the drawing board and let's have the public's input on what should be built in this community. Once again, I am not against affordable housing. We need it, but we don't need to be pressed into accepting something we as a community didn't have any input in. Thank you.
Mr. Rollins, listen.
Mr. Mayor and fellow commissioners and all of our city employees who are involved in this matter that is before us today. My name is Wallace Wesley. I'm a businessman in Port St. Joe, retired general contractor, a pastor. Please make this statement a matter of records. Each time I have spoke in public, each time I have spoke in private, I have said I was 100% in favor of affordable housing coming to Port St. Joe. There has been no conversation with anyone at any time to say that I was against affordable housing. I am against what's being proposed here. We talked about the vote on last night. The mayor is absolutely right. The vote was 5-4 the second time around. The first vote, it was 4-3. Because there were 9 members present, there was a call for a second vote. With the second vote, one person that didn't vote tied it 4-4. After that, the chairman voted and split the tie. That's how we submitted this to the city commissioners. It didn't just float through because there are many questions that we need to ask and need to answer. There are issues that we need to deal with, and we don't need to rush to judgment. It was just stated we got to August 16th, so why rush to do anything? What I'm saying is this, timeline. In October of 2013, PACE submitted an application for 62 units. And in 1914, they submitted an application for 50 townhouses. 13, it was garden apartments. They submitted to us a copy of the concept in which they were going to build for us, which were 50 townhouses. For 1 year, 11 months, anyone in Port St. Joe had any picture of what they were proposing to do was that of the townhouses. Then on September 15th, the city of Port St. Joe received a copy of the plans for 50 garden apartments. We, that was on the board of the PDRB, was then asked in 7 days to review these plans and approve them. The law does not allow us as board members to contact one another and see what we feel or think about what we're facing. So we had to stay to ourselves, look over the plans that were submitted to us. We did our homework. That's what we're called to do as board members, to find out whether or not this is good for Port St. Joe. I know that the specific is to look at the codes, but there are ethical matters that is concerned here. Because my question is, why would, in the beginning, we be submitted with a concept of 50 townhouses, but the application is for garden apartments? In 14, a year later, townhouses. 15, again, garden apartments. And we received on September 15th these new plans in Port St. Joe. But on the front of the plans, see, the plans were revised on 6/30/2015. But inside the plans, if you look at them, the plans were revised on 4/1/15. That means it took 5.5 months for the plans to reach Port St. Joe. But then we are forced to vote in 7 days. And after we killed that vote by saying that all the board members hadn't even had a chance to look at the site, we come back on October 5th yesterday, and then we are given instructions, rightfully so, by our chairman. We're here for one reason, and that is to discuss whether or not the plans meet code specification, those criteria. But then statements was made, but what about ethics? What about all of the false statements that have been made that by so many people?
Mr. Lester, I'll give you 2 more minutes, just like everybody else.
Okay, that's fair, that's fair. So then, my closing statement is simply this. If this project that is coming before us, people in Port St. Joe need to know that a single person must earn $16,850 to qualify. 2 people, $33,450. With our base income of these people that we think we're supporting is less than that. If a person qualified for Section 8, that disqualified them for this program. So if this is such a great program that is so needed in Port St. Joe, we, the members in my community, don't want this project coming through our community, make it a separate subdivision unto itself. Easily done. Just don't cut a road through our community, that is Bay Street, Harbor Avenue, Harbor Street, Broad, Apollo, Royal. Make the entrance and exit elsewhere. Thereby, in our minds, we will feel that our existing community is staying intact. And then there's another community, a new community that's being developed, which will be this project of apartments and later on senior citizens apartment. So if it's a good idea and that's not good enough, then propose it to the south side of town. And I believe you know that it would be political suicide for you to make that recommendation that you move it from north side to south side.
But you know, we can't do that. We don't have land over there to put it on. I mean, we did, we made a little there the first time, but we don't have land. Okay, well, I thank you, Mr. Lester, for your comments. I really do.
I just want to put this business to you.
All right, that was all that signed up to speak on this matter. I'm gonna allow one person to speak and then sign up, but they came in late, and he was the one that went to the places and asked him to come. So I'll let him speak. That's to be it.
My name is Tan Smiley, a member, resident of St. Joe for 51 years. I'm the one who went to the Paces Foundation to bring them here. When I went to the Paces Foundation, the only reason I went to the Paces Foundation is because I was a public service. I had people coming up to me telling me that they needed somewhere to stay. I had people coming up to me telling me that we had to take the sheds that you buy from Panama, put on lots, fix them up so their kids could have somewhere to stay. So me being a commissioner went out looking for someone to come in and bring us affordable apartments. Once I got to the Paces Foundation, we had at least 3 to 4 meetings at the WIG building. We had at least 2 meetings at the fire station. No one come out to put in their opinion on what was going on. We talked about it, and there was a piece of land on the south side of town that could be used, that was donated to the city by Port St. Joe Paper Company. It's over by the end of 10th Street by Miss Roach's house, over behind the Public Works. So what I'm trying to say, all these things was brought up many years ago. I talked with several of you guys that's up here and told me when I first went out there that this was a good idea. We need public housing. I have people to come up to me and say, Smiley, if you want jobs to come to St. Joe, if we bring a job into St. Joe right now with 100 people that got to go to work, where could we put 40 people to live? So all this was brought out to our attention about the house. We had a meeting at the fire station that the Pacers Foundation brought out 3 diagrams of what they was proposing for us. So all this is something discussed. But what we got going on right now is at the last minute, now we got certain people that want to stand up and say, but when it was being planned out, those certain people knew about it and they wasn't there. Right now, I'm looking at people living in shades because they have nowhere else to go put their head down. And for you guys to be a serviceman for the people, you ain't a serviceman for everybody who got it. You're a serviceman for all the people. So that means we got to look out for everybody. We need these affordable apartments.
Amen.
At this time, we'll close the discussion to the public. Before I call for this vote, I would allow any city commissioner that would like to speak at all to do so. If anyone wants to speak on the board, they do so, and then we'll call for the vote.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to. I've been on this board about 30 months, 2.5 years now, and I can tell you this is probably the hardest decision I've made since being on this board. But when I was elected, I told the people,
All loud, man.
I told the people when I ran and I got out and knocked on doors at Port St. Joe, whether it be in the south side, I don't see different sides. Some people do, some people don't. I don't see color. I love everybody. They're my brother, my sister, they're my friends. But I said that I would stand up for everybody in this community. And the majority of the people elected me to do what was right for our community. And when I come to a vote, I'm going to do it because my family will tell you this is dear to my heart. I have knocked on doors. I have asked people their opinion. I have got out in the community and I have asked people their opinion. I have studied this, but I didn't start studying this 2 months ago. 2 years ago, Tan Smiley brought this to the city as a county commissioner. The city did not go looking for this affordable house, and it was brought to us. And he's correct when he says there was 3 different things put up in front of us. And you want me to tell you, I have a house I live in. But for me to sit here tonight and vote because I have 50 friends telling me not to vote for it, but yet they got a place to live, they got a home, they got a place to live. I'm not speaking for everybody, I'm speaking for Commissioner Thursby, but to me that's hypocrisy and I won't do it. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Just a few comments, Mayor. I certainly thank the PDRB for all their work. It's been a tough road for them, and they checked everything out. They did good to them. I think, unfortunately, our decision is a little more complex than that, and some of the impacts. And I've talked to Mr. Dumas about this and expressed my concern to him. We sitting up here and think about impacts on our city, which impacts everybody, as Commissioner Thursby said. My family's been helping folks in St. Joe since 1951, and we'll continue helping if it's opening a drugstore at night, or Little Johnny's prescription for his earache, or helping people with credit when the mill was down. We've always done that. We appreciate the folks helping us too. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. The traffic impact, I know the study's been done. It said the streets will handle it. But the impact on those people that live in that area concerns me. roads too. Also, I've talked to Mr. Moss about the impact of department levy on the police department. I am concerned about that. You know, everybody likes something new. Newness wears off after a while, and reality sets in. So we need to definitely consider that. So, you know, we got to look at the other citizens. We need to think about what's best for all of us. We have to consider the feelings of the citizens that do not want this project, as well as the citizens that do want it. So we get paid big bucks to make decisions, but I just want to voice my opinion on a few items.
I've been on this board for almost 4 years. And I'm going to echo what Commissioner Quinn said. We are all up here, we're for affordable housing. Tan, I talked to you when you first brought it, you know I did. I did, but I agree with Tan. Hold on a minute. I agree with what they brought originally, which were townhouses. They did not bring garden-style apartments. I hope everybody takes consideration of their vote tonight. This will impact this community for years to come. Search your heart and do the right thing.
I have such a heart. I have prayed into this. I have looked people in the eyes that need this. And that touches my heart. How can I deny these people a decent place to live, an affordable place to live? How can I do that? I cannot look at you, I'll be honest, the people that want this thing and will live there. I cannot look at you and say, I can't vote no because my conscience would kill me. That's where conscience comes in. When you vote to hurt somebody. And if you vote no for this project tonight, you're hurting a lot of people that need this affordable housing. That's just the way I feel. So this time,
let me respond to that, Mayor. I'm going to make a statement. And Sandy knows what I'm talking about. The Pace Foundation is not the only people that build these developments. They're not the only game in town. The tax credits are for Gulf County. They are not for the Pace Foundation. I want everybody to realize that. This is not something that only the Pace Foundation can do. We are not against affordable housing. But we can do better than a 3-story building.
all right. This time we're going to get a motion to approve.
So moved, Mayor.
I have a motion by Commissioner Thursby. I have a second. I have a second by Commissioner Ashbrook. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, no.
No, hold commission.
Hold commission. Mr. Thursby, how you vote?
What'd you say?
How you vote? You vote yes or no?
I vote yes for the project. I vote yes.
No.
No.
Yes. Motion passes 3-2. That concludes this part of the meeting. We'll continue on with our regular agenda. We'll take a 5-minute recess for now. How about that? 5-minute recess. We'll continue our meeting. Appreciate everybody staying. Jim, it's up to you.
Yes, sir. The first thing we have under old business tonight is the overnight parking ordinance. Mr. John Reed's going to talk to you tonight about it. I don't think he's here tonight, Mayor.
He called me earlier today and said he had 3 months off with each commissioner. And we were kind of on the same page as far as you use it in your business. You're legal, is that right, Tom? I mean, we don't want to be anti-business. So if somebody needs something they work with on a regular basis, now if it's something they don't use for months at a time, that might be a different story.
Well, I think the kicker was he didn't have a good home.
they don't move it every day, but it's part of their business. And we're trying to figure out how we can make them move something that's part of their business, that they pay city taxes, and they own a building in town.
If it's part of their business, I assume, like your trucks, they get moved every day.
Not everyone.
Yeah, but they all get moved.
Yeah, most of them are 7 days. Yeah. One of them, they sit longer than my yard truck. If I don't have a yard job to do, it sits there out in the yard job. That's all he does is do his yard.
So I'll tell Richie.
Tell Richie to come on by. I love Richie to come by. I pay too many taxes for Richie to come talk to me.
Couple comments on that is, I was along stimulating the PDRB a little bit to come up with this proposal for our tourist corridor to make the whole tourist corridor look nice. And the whole idea is if you got an active business and you've got vehicles on it, that's fine, but don't use city property and somebody else's parking lot to park your boats and vehicles on and make our city look bad. So that's the point. Mr. Reeves said that there's nothing on here about trucks, but I think it says any similar item of personal property. So with that, I believe that counts as a truck. So or any other personal property. Yeah. So well, I don't know. I'd have to ask our attorney, but if there's a loophole, somebody always finds it. But we can always close it. But I understand that there's a business in town that's already found a loophole, and they're riding a trailer around town and then bringing it back, parking it, and say, well, I've got another 7 days. So I would hope everybody would adhere to the letter and spirit of the ordinance and not try to find loopholes and be good corporate citizens and just keep our city clean and make it look good for everybody. So that's the intent of this, not to harass any business owner, for sure.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to speak on that. I'd like to say that when I voted on it, I definitely didn't vote on it to give us the right to harass business owners, and I definitely want to go on record as saying that that's all that is if we're going to tell somebody. So I instructed Mr. Reeves about every 7 days that if he pull his truck down the road and pull it back in, he'll be safe. And once if I'm not mistaken, it's got to come before the board before we can take any action on it anyway. I never voted for this in the first place. I wasn't real big on it in the first place, and I definitely never voted on it to give us the right to harass people that are doing business in our city. Thank you.
Okay. Next.
Yes, sir. The next item we have is from Mr. Bruce Ballister. He's here tonight to talk to you about the CDBG grant application.
Good evening, Commissioners. Do I need the microphone?
Yes.
Fine?
Yeah.
If you'll remember last May, I came before you, or maybe early last June, we had the issue that we've gotten all the way through the process, the first public hearing, and had our CATF meeting, and the second public hearing was not advertised at the start, so the hearing was invalid, and we're postponed until the next cycle opens. I've been in conversations with the managers at the CDBG office. They are still on schedule for opening the cycle in the last week of January. That may slip a week or two, but they're going to do their games to stay on that schedule so that they can get back into their normal October cycle next year. That being said, I've got a proposed schedule of having a first public hearing advertisement for the first meeting in November, a second advertised public hearing in December, so they have plenty of time for whenever they finally open the cycle, we can submit it, the package will be ready. If we slip any longer, the next cycle, the next October, we'll probably have to go survey houses again. I don't want to be in that position. Also wanted to stay on point technically with that department. We had a letter agreement with the city to do this application dated 2 years ago, and it referenced the 2013 cycle. So just to keep everything on the up and up, have a re-up of that, same wording we had 2 years ago, just references the correct CDBG cycle. Everything else is the same. We are letting the city's expenses in advertising be paid for by We're also proposing that the advertisements be held in the Panama City paper on the Wednesday prior to the Thursday that we advertise in the local paper. By law, you can submit, an advertisement in the MSA newspaper, which is the Panama City News Herald. But I think that the local citizens should know that we're having a hearing, and so we advertise in both places just to make sure there's no false hearings or unadvertised hearings. I will also plan to have within that period between now and January a fair housing workshop with this commission. Supposed to have them every year. I know they're kind of boring and you know what it all is anyway, but we have to hold them. So at some point, I'll check with Charlotte when we don't have a busy agenda with the city commission. I'll try to hold a workshop. And I guess it's your pleasure whether we have that at 5:30 as a separate, very short meeting, or have it as a short segment within the regular hearing. I think that's probably the easiest thing to do because they aren't very long. Unless you really want to have a nitty-gritty how to do fair housing workshop that will take longer. Those aren't required.
What do we need on our part, just let us know.
I was just going to give this updated agreement to Charlotte. She can put it in your signature package for tomorrow.
Okay.
And no ruling from the city commission is needed this time. I did check with the office yesterday at CDBG, and they said that the CATF meeting, the Citizen Advisory Task meeting that we had last May, is still valid, but it's been less than a year. So we don't have to go through that section again.
Good.
So we're ready to go. Pretty much have to repackage it on the new format forms, and we'll get it into the office whenever they open the site.
So Bruce, what you're saying now is you've got all your ducks in a row, and we're not going to slip up and miss the deadline and pay for this time?
Definitely not.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Mike.
The next item we have is in reference to 102 Stone Drive, the building permit. To kind of give you an update as to where we're at with it at the staff level, Attorney Gibson, Mr. Bo Creel had a conversation with the actual Modular Home Association attorney and with a contractor. Mr. Gibson, do you want to elaborate on that?
Sure. Last week, the president of the Florida Manufactured Housing Association and their attorney, Bo Creel, Scooter Hughes, myself, and two representatives of the manufacturer had a conference call, and we told them that we have not seen a foundation plan that complies with the statute at this point. And until we see that, we can't do anything. I do not believe that anything has been submitted since that conference call last Wednesday, and that's where we are.
So we're waiting on them to submit the plan?
Yes.
Mr. Meyer?
Yes, sir. That's why I was here. I talked to the manufacturer yesterday, and he assured me that the engineers were working on it and that they were going to submit it to Mr. Creel, and it would be in compliance of what he was asking. And so I was going to ask the commission if we are in agreement on once we are in agreement on the foundation, what's next? What do we have to do to get the work order lifted, to get the work done?
Well, I don't know, I'm not a lawyer, but in my opinion, it would be whether or not our ordinance or LDR stating that any type of homes of that kind can only go on one particular area of the city. And I am in conversation with someone now, trying to get them to let me know if that was their order.
Okay.
And that's where we are. We got two problems. The land requisition in violation of it, according to what it says, and then, of course, your manufacturer want to give us a plan to put down a permanent foundation. So I'm not got there, there's not vehicles in the other yard.
Now remember, your building department issued
Yeah.
a permit based on our drawing.
Right.
They accepted it. They said it was in the regulation.
Right.
So,
Have you looked into maybe finding another place to put it yet?
well, you know, it's every place I'm looking at, man, it's pretty darn spent. You know, I'm looking around and properties aren't cheap here.
Excuse me, let me talk out here. We're
Oh.
gonna look.
Well, I've been looking.
You have to come to the podium.
Oh, thank you.
Take that back to her.
Well, she wanted to know where I've been looking, and I've been going on Craigslist. I've been looking at the different real estate listings, just for properties that are within the price range.
Lake Quilico,
Where's that?
up off Over Street. Beautiful property, and it's going as cheap as can be, and people are buying them. And they accept them.
He really likes the school system here,
I'm wanting Horse
so
Head
he
Joe.
wants to be where his child can have school here.
Yeah.
So, like, we don't know much.
Yeah, I've been looking at Port City Joe.
But you would get several lots in the same price frame to look at, where you're
I'm
not.
trying to find the same price range, and I'm not getting any hits at all. Everything I'm seeing is about $10,000 or $15,000 more than my property.
Mr. Mike, you find something and come to us and then we'll talk.
All right, fair enough. I'm just.
I'm telling you, you get something close and you bring it to this board. You call it in, we'll call a special meeting. I'm ready to get this thing behind us.
Yeah, I would love to. You know, I love.
But at the same time, there's a lot of people that
Yes.
pretty dead set that they're not really wanting that thing there. So you get you a piece of property that we can move that thing on there, and I promise you, I don't believe there's land sitting on this board right now that we won't do everything in our power we can to try to help them make that happen.
Okay, but I'm trying to stay within the price range. You understand?
I do understand.
And that's the hard part. You know? And then we're looking at when you're looking at properties, they're all overgrown, so they need to be cleared. A pad needs to be put down. We already had a pad put down on the other place. I put 20 loads of dirt in there. Other things like that we have to look at as well. You know. Plus, it has to be acceptable to my lender, obviously. But I think it would be acceptable if it's at that price range or more. I don't think it would be a problem with the lender, personally. You know, I'm not in that business. You know, but I'm doing my best, and I was going to look at. There's 4 different properties that my wife wanted me to go look at, have a look, and she said. One was a little more, but what I'll do is I'll submit the 3 or 4 to Mr. Gibbs. Yeah, or I'm sorry, Mr. Anderson, and he can let you guys know what he thinks. And you guys can make your decision.
We don't have a meeting for 2 weeks, but Mr. Mike, I feel like that this week you'll get real busy on, and you find you something, you may call us. We'll have a meeting.
Yes, sir.
Whatever
Okay.
the legality is that we have to advertise, whatever we have to do. We
Okay.
can hold you out there for 2 weeks.
I appreciate that.
Mike, ready for it? Correct.
All right, sounds good. And Mr. Anderson, I'll be in touch with you by the end of the week. Then what I can do is give you MLS numbers or just the ads or whatever. Okay. Yes, sir. And I appreciate it. Thank you so much for your understanding.
All right. Would you like to say something if you come up?
Okay, Mindy Pate, 101 Gulf Coast Circle. I guess most of my question would be directed, first of all, preface, no one is trying to keep you from finding a place to live in St. Joe. You have
I get that feeling, yes.
It is not. This is not personal. This is a financial portion, not only for you, but for the homeowners in that area. I've done a lot of researching, and one manufactured home in Wheeler Show is a 2014. It's very similar to yours when you put together, it came in 2 pieces. Right now, it's being advertised for $69,000. You are not living in a $69,000 area. Okay. All right. The other my question would be insurance-wise. No.
To my
Yes.
insurance policy?
No, you would not be able to add on to a structure.
I don't know. Why
You
not?
can't. I've already checked into that.
Okay.
That type of a structure cannot have any additions. You can't go up. You basically can't go out due to the nature of it.
Okay.
All right? As it gets older, they do not appreciate. I'd like to see some statistics from your part, how it will appreciate. Because going in there, it automatically is going to devaluate our properties.
Okay.
All right? So we're looking at that as trying to guard our financial.
Okay. I understand. Yes. Totally understand.
And you're okay with that. You're okay going into a neighborhood knowing that you will cause the homeowners in that area to lose value to their homes.
Now, keep in mind now, I did a lot of research before I bought this piece of property. I called the building department to ensure I could put this house on there, okay? I made sure with the real estate agent that I was allowed to put this house on there before I even bought the property. So I made sure that a modular home was allowed to be on that property.
Okay, but we've already been through this meeting after meeting.
Right.
The term modular,
Yes.
that goes to the Manufactured Home Association, and that is
And the state of Florida.
We're the state of Florida, all right, and they slipped one in. That is not a modular home.
Well, but the law says it.
The law says it is.
So might as well just call it what it is.
Right. Okay.
But we're not going to sit here and argue that. I'm doing my best. I really am. I'm going to try.
Have you looked into having somebody purchase it from you?
Somebody called me. As a matter of fact, somebody called me on Friday, and I told him I would be interested. Somebody from Weewa, I don't know who, called me up on Friday, asked me about it, and I never heard from him since. And he was blocked on my phone, so I couldn't even call him back.
See, those are the things I would like to see. Probably the council work with him on finding somewhere to move it, because it is right now. If it continues where it is, you're going to need a crane to lift it because it's about 2 feet from rolling over.
I think we can find a lot, and I think you can bring it to us, Mr. Mike. I think we can get it worked out. I really do.
I'll do my best.
Because I think that the council has been more than willing to try to work, to remedy this situation. But this just keeps going on. He's losing money. In the meanwhile, I think you're causing everybody there to get blood pressure medicine and tranquilizers.
Understood. Yeah.
Okay? But again, no one is against you residing in the community.
No, I understand. And like I said, the board has been very understanding, pretty good understanding, and I hope I've been trying to be understanding too. Mayor Patterson knows I talked to him on the phone. I talked to Mr. Anderson on the phone. I'm doing my best, really. But yeah, I wanted to be the same.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thanks.
Back at you, Jim.
The next item we have is in reference to the Highway 98 golf cart crossing. Mayor Patterson had it on from last meeting. I think he wanted to talk to you again tonight.
Yeah, and, I think we got some good news coming away. I think. Clay, we got some good news coming. You want to talk about this now? Instead of waiting? Clay has been working on the traffic study thing we have to do. And
Well, I don't know about any good news. Where we left off the last meeting, I was supposed to give the DOT to have them kind of give us a warm fuzzy on what intersection would be good to study and submit for a crossing, if that's First Street or one of the others. But, and so that's where we're at. Still working that out with them. And I hope by next meeting I can tell you what their feedback is on that. So I don't know if that's a good news.
we want to get this thing done. We'd like to cross it right here in town somewhere. And the biggest thing is, we need you to help us out with the financial part.
We agreed that last time. That's right.
You're gonna take care of it 100%? 100%?
Yes.
I mean, I don't know if you need an engineer to count cars, but I'll be glad to pull a 6-hour duty. You got me? Take care of these other commissioners too. Yes, sir, you want to speak?
Is there an application that you go to the state to secure before you do this study and all?
Right? He would know better than I would.
I just wondered if there was an application if we applied for whatever we need.
The study is the application.
Okay,
It's
okay.
all encompassing. It's an application, it's a study, it's maps, it's diagrams, it's the whole shoot match. Yes, sir.
But what he's saying is we're gonna get this thing done without $0. But just like I volunteered my time to do a 6-hour study, you might wanna volunteer 6 hours.
I'll be glad.
I see they got the count strips out. Like, yeah, yeah.
So, when you get ready to meet your crew to count cards for 6 hours at a time, you got 2 of them right here.
I got the 2 that he
You got 2 right here. I'm sure Commissioner Thursby will probably know.
Somebody's got to be out there to count the cars.
He get his wife in here.
I think Phil ought to do it, you know? He gets most of the game, you know?
Okay, yeah.
All right, the next item we have is a reference to the delineators on Highway 98. We had a discussion at our last meeting. Commissioner Bezzetta brought to you, and we actually put some items in there, a couple of different suggestions in there if it's something you want to look at in your agenda pack tonight.
Yes, on pages 24 to 29, John Grantham brought this to me. It's a little different concept. It makes it easier for maintenance if one of the delineators get knocked over. These bolt in, they don't glue down on the city street. We're going to have a serious problem at those 2 locations if we don't do something. What I would like to get from the commission tonight is if you think the concept of delineators in those areas are important, go ahead and give us an okay to research this, find out with FDOT if they're going to pay for it, or find out if we're going to have to pay and how much it's going to cost. But we're kind of in limbo until we can give John Grantham guidance on what we want him to do. Traffic right now is already backing up to past all the way to the Shell station there. When somebody's trying to turn in, I was behind them today. Somebody's trying to turn in under the green light at Hungry Howie's, and I was at the last car in line, and I was at the entrance to the Shell station. So anyway, and cars pulling out of the Piggly Wiggly parking lot, turning left across 3 lanes of traffic, across that double yellow line, that's a problem. So I think we need to. I was totally against it when it first came out 2 years ago, but the more I see it, the more I think we've got to do something.
Chief, are we at any accidents there?
Without looking, I can't answer that for sure. Most of the accidents we've had have been people running into people at 98, 71 because traffic stopped.
Right at the red light?
Yes.
I just hate these things. I mean, you go down, you look at them in different areas, and they all knock down half the time, they don't stay up, and they're all pretty ugly.
Well, I think some of these look a little better with the reflectors, and they're flat and they're lower. So I would certainly like to see us go forward with it.
We can't
come
put
back.
it in.
We're not going to automatically do it on a vote tonight. It's a vote for the project to move forward to John, and FDOT come back with FDOT's proposal as far as money. Do they install it? Do we install it? And so forth.
I would rather maybe put just one pole right there with a sign saying no left-hand turn.
Can we put it in the middle of the
How are we gonna put these things in the middle of the highway? Why can't we put one?
If we put one, it better break like they do.
Yeah.
That's gotta break.
But I mean,
That's for sure.
some type of sign just saying no left turn.
I don't even know if I should say this. I wasn't here when they redid 98, but why is there not just a turn lane all the way down the middle of 98? If you go by the letter of the law and the statute, there's only 2 places. I mean, you can't even turn into Avenue C without going across.
I know it.
2 yellow lines.
That makes sense.
I mean, there's really only 2 spots there between First Street and the
Reckon we can get
overpass that you can actually turn legally.
Well, we just dropped the ball, or somebody did in that regard. It all looked good on paper, but the reality of it.
And I don't know if putting a turn lane there where you could turn either way would fix that problem or not.
They call it the suicide lane in Panama City, don't they?
They do?
Yeah.
They do.
I'm familiar with that.
But
So what do you want to make
I'd like to make a motion to move forward with study on delineators, get with FDOT, and come back with a price and a final design, I guess you would say, for those two intersections.
All right, we have a motion on the floor by Commissioner Rosette. Do we have a second?
I'll second it for discussion.
Second by discussion by Commissioner Ashbrook.
Are you thinking that FDOT is gonna pick up the original, the initial tab for putting these down?
I do.
They do?
Yeah.
And then the replacement, that's my concern.
Our maintenance and replacements usually the cities, is that right, Mr. Anderson? Is that what you recall?
We got some information late today. According to Mr. Grantland, he got a email from Transfield that indicated that if we want to move forward on the concept of this type here, we need to do a formal request to FDOT. Indications are they would pay for it, but he's not sure which type would be permissible.
Okay.
These look very expensive. They're pretty.
All right, let me amend my motion if I'm allowed to send a formal proposal to FDOT with these style delineators that our Public Works head has recommended, and then we'll take it from there. We'll find out what they'll do, what they won't do.
Okay. So we have an amended motion by Commissioner Rosette. Do we have a second on that?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Ashbrook. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed likewise? No. Motion passes 4-1.
The next item we have tonight is the Employee Wellness Program. Commissioner Brissette wanted to talk to you tonight about it.
Yeah, my name's on the agenda way too much tonight, but anyway, wellness program, I'm a health person, always have been, and I think it's important due to the fact we had to raise our base rate on the insurance for our employees again this year. I talked to Sarah Hines at the health department, Dwight Van Leer, our insurance guy, and I'd like to have a workshop with those two individuals. Sarah's got a PowerPoint presentation that talks about wellness and how important it is to productivity as well as personal. And I'd like to have all our department heads and the commission and Sarah Hines from the health department, and White there, and let's go over this, because I'm really, I think, and we can do this, we can require all our employees will have a physical every year. We can require that, and we can't require them to eat right and do all those other things. We can require them to do that and do the blood work, everything associated with it. And I mean, it's important to find things early on to keep us from having a huge bill and our insurance rates just continue to climb, as well as just, it's good to be healthy for our employees and us.
I think it's a great idea, and ultimately, if we can lower our risk factors, maybe our insurance will start to go down instead of up for months.
I'm not hiding on and waiting on that part, but it won't go up as much, hopefully. So I want let's see, this is the 6th. What do our calendars look like? I'll get with Jim, get him to poll y'all, and I'll get with Sarah Hines and White and see a good time for everybody to have an hour, no more than an hour, and let's discuss this thing.
Sounds good for you. All right.
The next item we have tonight is the Cape Sewer Billing. Commissioner Brissette wanted to talk to you about it tonight as well.
Okay, here I am again. We talked about this 2 meetings in a row, I think. We have problems on the Cape. You know what the problems are. I've talked to you about it. Jim's talked to you about it. We're losing a lot of money out there, and what I'd like to propose is that we have a $25 base rate on every sewer customer on the Cape, whether they're there, whether they're water's turned off, whatever, you can call it a convenience fee or whatever you wanna call it. But if somebody comes in and says, I wanna turn my sewer off, and we do it, and then they go tell Lighthouse that they're back, they wanna turn their water on, but they don't come tell us that the sewer needs to be back on, and 3 months down the road, we haven't got paid for 3 months, 6 months worth of sewer. At least we're getting the base rate, every month, so there's no way that they can come in and say, turn my sewer off. They cannot transfer it unless if they sell their business or their house. They cannot transfer it unless they bring the closing document in that says I sold it to Bo Patterson, and now he's going to be responsible. So I make that form of motion.
Second.
Commissioner Rosette, second, Commissioner Hasbrook.
Yes, Mayor, one thing on there, maybe the easiest way to do it would be, I think this is what the motion was, and make for clarification. Currently, right now, you have a base rate on all your utility bills, and you have the usage on there. If you just do not, as far as at City Hall, if you just don't shut the water off for the people that come in and ask for it, they must show you a new person to come in. It would not change a separate base rate or those type of things on there that could potentially be troublesome for the city. If you do that, we're just not turning those off and require a new person to come in. I think that would be the simplest way.
So basically what you're saying is we're not adding a new rate. You would like to just keep it as it is, but you're not allowed to come in and turn your sewer off. Correct. Or transfer it unless you have a document that says that this transfer is being made to XYZ.
Yes, because there's some stipulations on, first you're going to have to change your ordinance. There's also stipulations to how much you can charge for different areas, interlocal. It could be very troublesome.
Okay.
That may be the simplest.
So I'll change my motion to that. Does everybody kind of understand that?
Okay, we got an amendment to motion by Commissioner Rosette, still second by Commissioner Hasbrook. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes 5-0.
Commissioner Rosette, too, on that note, too, we had discussed today, we'd also talked with Mr. Rish. He is supposed to be getting us something for us to look at, a proposal as far as turn-ons, change-outs of meters, those type of things in the water system at Lighthouse Utilities. So we are working that, and we'll bring it back to you shortly. Okay, the next item we have is in reference to the Patton Park layouts, the advertisement. Staff also went back to look to see if we could find where it was specific dollar amounts. We know it had been discussed. Me and Ms. Pierce could not find where a specific dollar amount's been set. I know we want to advertise them, so we need to shore up the actual dollar amount plus where you want us to advertise them.
Tom has that.
Yeah, I've got those numbers. Commissioner Thursby, we had some numbers. Commissioner Thursby felt like they needed to be a little bit higher. So I've got that.
Yeah, we discussed that.
We did discuss it.
It was discussed, but there was no motion to set it or establish each lot cost.
Did you find in the minutes anywhere that we discussed dollar amount?
Mr. Gibson felt that the front two lots would go for a minimum of 86.
How much?
At 86.
No, 110.
No, it's
That's
110.
110,000.
110, yes. After the discussion, and what I originally submitted may have said 85 or something like that. After the discussion, Commissioner Thursby had done some research on values, and he suggested some different pricing. I've got it written down. If it suits you, the plat and the covenants probably get recorded this week. I can finish up the advertisement and put it on the agenda for the next meeting, if that suits you. All right, we'll do that. Now you just got to decide where you want to advertise it.
One thing Jim and I talked about the other day, Jim, is that kind of where you were going to, but you guys, we need to set a price. Jim mentioned to us a couple of weeks ago about maybe just advertising locally, and I told him that I would feel better. We don't have to do it all over the world, but I think we need to do the Tallahassee Democrat, the Dothan Eagle, a few of them. And I think in this stuff there is some things. for different, newspaper articles. Of course, he wanted to do the Star of the News Herald, but maybe the Democrat and some other things. I think, you know, we put the money back in after we sell the lots, but I think we need to set a dollar amount, let's vote on it tonight, if we want to spend an advertisement, a dollar amount up to or something. Anybody got a number in mind?
Well, based on what's in the, agenda packet, it's, pretty expensive just for 2 days, wasn't it? Let's see, it's page 31. Sunday at the News Herald's $246 for a small ad, and then, let's see, these all News Herald.
News Herald is everything more.
But anyway, we got to decide on the size, and then
So just keep in mind, you know, we got a lot, you know.
We're gonna put it on our website too,
$10
huh?
worth of property here. We
Put it
can
on the city
advertise.
website, right?
yeah, I mean, there's something else we got to decide too. If a realtor brings us a buyer, what percent are we gonna give them in commission?
Well,
And the realtor's gonna bring us some buyers. I really think so.
Well, the thing is, I thought we were gonna do the sealed bids on. That's what we voted on the night with Commissioner McCrone, or did we forgot about all that?
Seal bid?
That's what.
Yeah, I mean, see, yeah, we did that, but that's the only way you're gonna allow one to be sold. I mean, they, sure, they can.
I mean, there's,
I think we're gonna start out that way.
I think that's what
If it
we
don't
started
sell,
out.
we'll have to look at doing
Yeah,
something
what do
else.
you think? That was kind of your thing. What do you think on that?
I'm fine with sale bids, and I think that's what we agreed on. We voted on sale bids.
We did, and, we had minimums, once we set the price, this was minimum, that wasn't a,
If
you
it
know.
doesn't take off right, y'all need to back up and punt it.
I think we do the sale bids, do the advertising, see where it goes.
Right.
my recommendation would be put it in the Star. I mean, there is a fair amount of local interest in that property, and, you know, you may get local folks that want to buy
Our
it.
defense, I've already been accused of trying to sell it to all my buddies, and we hadn't even got it done.
I thought y'all got one each.
No, and that's what I don't want people to think, that I got some kind of home cooking going on here. And watch my neighbor buy it, you know what I'm saying? That's my only thought. I make a motion that we spend up to $1,500 in advertising, get the best bang we can for that, and that money will go back into it after we sell those lots.
Who's gonna be responsible for, well, I'll second it for discussion. All right, who's gonna be responsible for deciding where the ads are going? And how many weeks you wanna just advertise till we spend $1,500?
No, I mean, I'm just saying up to that. Let us put something together for a couple of weeks, get the best bang we can.
Well, the
In
number
one day.
You're not gonna get a couple of weeks if you go with some of your large ones that are like $900 for one day.
That's what I was gonna say, shouldn't we set the date we're gonna open the envelopes
Yeah,
first,
so
and then decide how much to spend?
Yeah, that'd be fine too.
How long do we wanna let it go? A month?
Could stay.
We could advertise locally and then see what we
Right,
get.
see if
If
we get it.
we don't get what, yeah.
Couldn't
Well,
staff come up with something and come back to you with
That's
it?
fine.
Yeah,
Why don't we
what's up
bring
with
you a
that?
complete ad with some suggestions on there at the next meeting, that way y'all can look at options 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, that's what we want.
Mayor, we have a local realtor sitting in the audience that, Ms. Shelf, do you want to speak to this, our conversation up here? We got a motion on the floor and under discussion, so.
About advertising?
Well, about the whole scenario, but yeah, whatever thoughts you have, I see your quizzical look on your face, so.
You know, I think that you ought to consider paying a commission, on this. If you're, you know, if you're wanting to put it out there, you can say that you're only gonna pay one side of the commission if you feel more comfortable doing that. But, if you want to advertise, you can put it in your paper, but you can have somebody put it on Zillow for you, which would get you all everything you want.
What is the legality of that, though?
Zillow,
I mean,
you familiar with
Can we
that?
just like even?
It's a real estate website.
As the owner of the property, you can put it on Zillow yourself.
Ourselves. Okay. See, that helps a lot.
Yeah.
Thank you. That a lot.
Yeah, I mean, if you put it on Zillow, it'll be ready
Thank you.
Okay.
Sounds like you got quite a bit to consider there.
So we're spending $1,500 on advertising that could go to Zillow or the newspaper or
Yeah, and
whatever.
if we find out that we don't need that much money to just, to start off, why don't we do this? Why don't we start off on Zillow? That's a good one. I didn't know we could put it on there though.
I'd like to see us put it to Star too.
Star, no, I've said the Star the whole time. I don't mean exclude the Star. I'm just saying the Star, Panama City News Herald, and maybe the Tallahassee Democrat. Don't even do it. And we don't even have to do the Democrat to start off with.
I think you can put it in the local paper first, if the local people need to know it's out there, and then the next week put it on Zillow, you're not gonna have any problems.
Indeed. Okay.
I personally like to list it with y'all.
My second stands, but.
What did you second?
What we doing? Spend up to $1,500 advertising these lots.
All right.
And Attorney Gibson's got the wording for the advertisement, he's working on. I guess he'll bring it to us.
It'll be on your next agenda.
And still, I think, we need to go ahead and think about, we'll be under another motion, but think about what kind of commission we're gonna pay if a realtor brings us a buyer. So, but anyway, that's for another motion. But we need to consider that between now and next meeting. Talk to folks.
All right, any more discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Motion passes 5-0.
The next item we have tonight is Traycom. Commissioner Brazil want to talk to you tonight about it.
Okay, Traycom is a telephone subcontractor for Fairpoint Communications. They lay cable for Fairpoint. They work in the city. They're supposed to, when they come in the city, they're supposed to go to City Hall, get a permit, get a flow meter because they need water to do their bores. They were in Sunset Circle neighborhood the other day, using our water illegally, I guess you would say, because they hadn't gotten a permit for a flow meter. Not only were they doing that, they disturbed the system for the whole neighborhood, so everybody was having dirty water. So Mr. Grantland explained to them, something they already knew that they were supposed to do. So my motion tonight would be to ask the city manager to bill Traycom the normal rates that they should be paying when they come get the permit and the flow meter, plus for a minimum of 1,000 gallons of water that they used on that day. And if they don't pay it in 30 days, don't issue another permit till they do. I think we need to get their attention, because how many other times have they gone out in the city and done this? And, we got people that are screaming their water rates, and then we got somebody coming in here making money using our water for free. And I don't like it.
All right, we got a motion by Commissioner Gazelle. We have a second. Second by Commissioner Thurston. All in favor say aye. Aye. Motion passes 5-0.
I'm through.
The next item we have is chamber update. Ms. Ronnie Cook, is here tonight.
Ronnie Kopic.
I'm sorry.
I noticed it was misspelled on it, yeah. I just wanted to give you guys an update on what's going on, so let me go ahead and pass this out. As I move forward as the chamber director, I just want to make sure that I have support with this. I'm just asking, it's not necessarily needed, I guess, but there's 3 things that I was going to cover tonight. The first one is a big issue that I'm getting ready to push, a big project. It's through Google. Google came to me about a month ago and said, hey, 187 businesses are on the map in all of Gulf County. That's it. So they said, we will work with you in getting all the businesses listed on Google and Google Maps. You guys are all familiar with Google, right? Everybody uses it? maybe.
Yeah, heard of it.
Never heard of Google, nice try. So, 4 out of 5 people go online to find local businesses. Right now in Gulf County, like I said, 187 businesses show up. Whether it's restaurants, dentists, or corporations, all businesses should have a presence online. I've created 3 different workshops over the next couple of months to help assist not just chamber members, but all businesses in Gulf County get listed on the maps. The first one's going to be October 27th from 10 to noon, and the first workshop's going to cover getting your business on Google and Google Maps. The second workshop's going to be November 12th from 10 to noon, and we'll focus on social media and why social media is important for businesses. Then the last one's going to be December 8th from 10 to noon, and it's going to cover websites and why websites are important to businesses. For all this, additional resources can be found on the Google website, gybo.com, or the chamber website. You guys have any questions on that part? No? Okay. The second one is going to be another one that's a big deal for me the next couple of months. Marshall Nelson with EOC came to me when I first started and said, we need to try to figure out a way to get all the businesses in one spot in case there's an emergency. He can send out a mass notice to whoever needs to, if it's restaurants, if it's grocery stores, if it's gas stations, if something happens in an emergency, they need to be notified. So I have probably about 45 different Chamber of Commerces that I talk to regularly. We pass around ideas. And one thing that they do is they have a courtesy membership listing. So I want all the businesses to be a part of the chamber so we can get this part happening. It's going to be a courtesy membership. It's going to be used for only emergencies, and it's going to be listed on our website. So all the businesses will be found on the chamber site if a business wants to be part of that. You guys have any questions on that? Because we don't have a way to find businesses. Am I correct? Like a listing, the city doesn't have a listing, or the county, I'm assuming, doesn't. Okay. Okay, and then the last one, I have been. Let me just flip my page real quick. I am new to this, as you guys know. New to the area. Don't have any ties to anybody here at all. I've heard from 2 different people on the board that the chamber cannot be supported because of certain people that I have on my administrative staff or certain board members. On 2 separate occasions, I've heard the word we. We cannot support the chamber. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think there's a rule about talking about that sunshine laws.
You don't have to talk to each other to find out what's going on.
Okay.
You talk to somebody else and they can let you know what somebody's saying. So we're not breaking the sunshine law. Let's get that straight.
No, but what has been said to me has been we.
I said we. I was the one that said we. I'll admit it.
Okay.
I have my problems with the chamber.
Okay. Well, that's why I'm here, because I need to understand the problems.
You know, the chamber's a great organization. I'm so happy that we've got it recognized. They help. Their only goal is to help business.
Thank you.
Prosper and get better. And I don't think they have any hidden agendas. I just met Ronnie about 3 meetings ago, and I'm glad she's here. There may be some people on here I don't particularly like, but still I think the overall mission of the chamber is important. And I think the city should support it. TDC, they got plenty of money there for tourist development. They're there to bring tourists in. Your job is to help these businesses garner those tourists, get their money, I guess you could say. So, from my standpoint, I support Chamber 100%.
Thank you, I appreciate that. And that's really what I wanted to be here for, is because I'm here to do a job. I'm hired by the businesses. I'm not city or county funded. I definitely want to make that clear, because it's a misrepresentation that we are covered financially by the city and the county, or When I come to the city or the county for money, it's gonna be because I want support for both of us. It's gonna benefit both of us. It's not just to support the chamber. It's gonna be for a reason. Like with the $1,500 that you had suggested, we ended up with $500. That's great. I'm gonna take that $500 and I'm gonna make bags with it. It's gonna represent both of us, the city and all the chamber members. So I'm here to advocate for the businesses. They're the ones that are paying me, and that's what I'm gonna do. So I do want the support, and I would hope that you guys are gonna move forward with me on this. What happened previously with the chamber has nothing to do with me at all. I'm here to do a job now. I was hired 3 months ago, and I'm gonna continue to do my job until I either move on or something else. My husband gives orders. But I just want to make that clear. Everybody signs a code of conduct that works for my staff and my board. So I just want to make sure that I have a really good board, I'm telling you, and my staff. So personal issues shouldn't be brought forward. It should just need to be between the chamber and the city.
Thank you,
Ronnie, I'll just say this, I've been very impressed with you since you've been here. I do have a problem with some of your staff. I'm not gonna discuss it with you at this meeting, but anytime you would like to discuss it, I will come by your meeting, your office, and discuss it with you.
And that's great, as long as it pertains to the chamber. I don't care about personal business.
And listen like this, okay? You're asking for our support. I didn't come and ask you, Ronnie, for your support for the city. We have done fine without. I will find another way to help the chamber. But to stand up here and to accuse some of us the way I felt of breaking the sunshine law, I can grant you one thing, you probably won't get much support of me after that remark.
No, I did not accuse you of that.
Well, it kind of sounded that way to me, and I don't appreciate it.
Well, I'm sorry you took it that way.
I
It's
did.
just when
I took it the same way.
when you came to me, you said we. So it made it sound like it was discussed. It just was discussed elsewhere. That's all.
You got somebody on your staff that bashed several members of this commission. Now, you deal with that problem. And I spoke to you about that.
Well,
Yes, sir.
you didn't get to speak about it.
Mr. Madison, would you like to talk?
Gary Madison, President of the Chamber of Commerce in Gulf County. I think everybody just needs to put their personal feelings away. This isn't about individuals. It's about businesses in the city. I heard y'all not too long ago say y'all were pro-business when a gentleman wanted to park his vehicle at his business. Well, the Chamber of Commerce is pro-business. And I find it unusual and funny that we have two people on the board that have their own businesses that aren't members of the chamber. I find that...
I'll be glad to address that to you. I'll be glad to address that.
Good reason why.
I was asked to join the chamber again, I was a chamber member. I told the person that asked me to join that time, I said, if you're not status quo, it don't matter. The small man is never counted here. Now, Gary, that's the truth. I have been a business, I started a business from $0. Today, I do over $340,000 in my business. You think I ever got recognized?
Well,
Not no hell no.
Mr. Mayor, this is a different chamber than the one you were accustomed to.
And that's what I'm trying to portray. I really am here to help.
Well, I hope so, because the chamber needs to change. It needs to be for all business people.
Support.
You got a businessman right here, you got a businessman right here. I don't think either one of us have ever been considered for representing the thing we did in our business because we're not status quo.
Excuse
Now,
me, but I
fact.
have nothing to do with that. And like I said, this chamber is different.
Well, I hope so, as I say. If
But
they are, I can
we
work
still
with them.
need all of y'all's support so that you're not talking about the chamber in a negative way. The only way that we can move forward is that y'all all be positive. And Ronnie's doing a good job, and let her do her job. And whether there's a board member you personally dislike or a staff member, let those things go
I can
side of the road.
there's been a lot more negative come out of that Chamber of Commerce office about us than I've ever thought about saying
See,
about the chamber.
that's, okay, and I understand that. We need to move forward though. It's a different person now taking over.
Okay, and I'm trying to give you a chance. The next thing you do, you walk in here and say, how do you do? You always breaking the sunshine law?
I did not say that.
I tell you what, dude, just every time.
You indicated it though, Ronnie. You should have never said it.
Well, it was indicated to me when y'all said we.
Well, maybe you shouldn't.
We don't, maybe sometimes we heard how other people feel. We don't have to talk to each other.
I never say nothing about you. You're the one up here, ma'am. I never called Ronnie to a city commission, but from now on, when you need our help, you call up here, we'll bring it to a vote, and we'll see if you get 3 votes. If you do, you get some help. If you don't, you don't.
I would like to see our chambers try. I really would.
I
But I
would too.
think it's
You
been going in the
will
wrong
see that.
direction for a
You
lot
will
of
see a
years.
difference going forward.
And we need to
And
change.
Ronnie's doing a great job, and y'all need to support one way or another, whether it's just
It's
talking
not me
about the
that you're
chamber
supporting,
in
it's
a
the-
positive note, or helping with projects when we can.
And it's not, it's not.
And I used to go to everything that the chamber had. I was there every time they had a ribbon cutting, every time.
That's
But
all I
unless you
have to
were-
say, Mr. Mayor. And if you want to talk about business accomplishments, I could spend about 3 hours on it.
Right.
It's a great board. It's a great board.
Well, I hope it's better, and I hope it does good, and if it does, I'll support it.
Okay.
But I've got to be proven. It's got to be proven.
I'm here to support all the businesses, even the ones that aren't chamber members, as I hope I'm proving. So, as we move forward, please come to me if you need anything.
Keep doing things like this. That's the direction that we need.
Okay.
Looks good.
Yep, I like this.
Thank you.
The next item we have is in reference to the CBIR grant application. What this refers to is the ones that go to, for legislative appropriation. The one that Mr. Bashirs and Mr. Mumford discussed, I believe, at their town hall meeting 2 weeks ago. Had discussion with the county, Mr. Don Butler. They're on board for applying for Beacon Hill and for the Cape. Also had a few citizens discuss about Jones Homestead. I'm going to get together again with Mr. Butler this week, but just want to run it by you and be thinking about also adding maybe Jones Homestead into the application process for this year.
Jim, do we need to, okay, we got time, or do we need to vote on that?
We still have time, so yes, sir, let's wait a couple of weeks. Let me get called with Mr. Butler again to see if we have any other ideas, and if you have anything to bring it to us.
No, the only thing I was gonna say is I have also been approached by about Jones Homestead, so see if maybe Don will work with us and let's see what we can do.
Why don't we do this tonight? The county's already approved for Beacon Hill and for the Cape. With your approval, what we can do is we can go ahead and start preparing the ones for Beacon Hill, Jones Homestead, and the Cape. It sounds like most everybody's on board.
A motion to go ahead and approve that then? Do you wanna go ahead and make the motion?
Yes, sir, that was perfect.
Personal issues, my motion. What? Make a motion to approve, the Seabird application?
Second.
All right, we got a motion from Commissioner Thursby and a second from Commissioner Ashbrook. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Motion passes 5-0.
The next item we have is in reference to a fee waiver request from the Junior Service League.
So moved.
Second. Motion by Commissioner Busby, second by Commissioner McCrone. Any further discussion?
One question. Is that that's for the park? Is that correct?
The
Okay.
George School Park.
All right, call for a vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0.
If you'll move to your manila folder, your handout tonight, there's one in reference to Mr. Cecil Lyons' retirement. His last day was Friday. If you get a chance to speak to Mr. Lyons, he's been with us since we actually started the water plant. He was instrumental in troubleshooting that plant. We hate to see Mr. Lyons go, but this here for your approval tonight for his payout of his sick leave and his annual leave.
Second. Motion by Commissioner McCrone. And a second. Second, Commissioner Thursby. All in favor say aye. Aye. Motion passes 5-0.
The next item, if you'll turn over to page 37, there's a proposal for an electronic sign at the Frank Pate Park. Spoke with Ms. Jennifer Jenkins. She is looking at putting a sign up for the city. It's an electronic message board. Commissioner Thursby sits on that board. I'm not sure if you got any additional information or
I
discussion.
don't, and guys, if it's okay with y'all, being that I don't have any information on it at this time, with knowing all the hot seats we've got in with these type signs, if it's okay with y'all, I'd like to table it until we could get some more information on it in 2 weeks, if that's okay with you guys.
Yeah, that's fine with me. I would like to throw out discussion for you guys to start thinking about is if we do approve it, I'd like to see a timer put on it so it would turn off at a certain time of night. 9 or 10 o'clock at night or something. You know,
And Jim, something I'd like to bring up to y'all, in the past is something that's bothered me there, is, you know, a lot of our youth organizations have a lot of fish fries and that type of stuff out there. And I was actually at the cheerleading thing they had one year up there, and the kids had a little sign out there, and they made them take that sign down and said that that was the TDC sign. Well, I don't know that that be exact, but if it is, maybe this would, and I didn't argue, I don't know the truth of the fact, but maybe at this time would be a good time, okay, if we're gonna do that, maybe we need to put something for our, you know, the TDC for them to advertise, but maybe also something in there for us to advertise.
Well, yeah, I think that's the whole point of community message board. If a cheerleader's having a function or something,
that's what I'm saying. I was kind of taken back by that, you know what I mean? I was like,
yeah, it's on city property.
But if you replace it with this welcome sign, you can't do that, can you?
No, it's gonna be a message board. That's
it'll be
an example.
that's a digital board that you can change your, you know what it says. It's not gonna always say welcome.
So,
digital billboards.
in your research in the next 2 weeks, you get all that done.
And I'm gonna bring that up if it's okay, that, you know, we also need to have some community involvement on being allowed to use this thing if we move forward with this.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do that.
It's not gonna be owned by the TDC.
That's my point.
Okay. They're gonna buy it from the city and we're gonna maintain it.
Right. I really mean, if that's the deal, but I don't, that's what I'm saying. Let's table this thing till I get some more info.
The next item we have is a reference to a couple of bid awards. We're finally to the point where we're ready to award the bids. We've sorted it out. The line feed system for construction, if you'll flip over to page 38.
Move we accept low bid, move forward.
Well, let me ask y'all something on this. Maybe I didn't look at it right, but it looks to me like when you combine everything, we're paying more than we were the first time we put it out for bid.
No, sir, it's actually reduced down because what we're looking to do, which we're asking for tonight is for the line bid system for Burnett Line Company would be $216,250. And then if you'll flip over to page 42, what we're looking to do is we're not looking to award this complete bid. The city engineers have had contact with IC contractors, which have agreed to my understanding, to accept a bid of $32,482.50. This would pull out the actual road itself. We're going to put down a lime rock road to try to save some money and apply for the additional funding on the distribution line that we need to complete. By doing this saves $60,000 by doing this. So basically, the road is only going to be used about once or twice a month to bring in a lime truck to bring in chemical. It's not going to be something that's going to be through traffic on. So we feel this is something we can do ourselves.
So what's the total amount?
You're looking at, this would be two separate bids for you to award. The first one would be for the actual lime system itself, which is, yes, sir. So the first bid for bid number, let's see, 2015-08 would be $216,250. That would be for Burnett Lime Company.
You need a separate motion on both those.
Yes, sir, I would, because it is two different
I made a
bids.
motion on Burnett Lime Company. I think that's the company that furnished the pilot project for us when they were working out there and how good it really worked. Hopefully we can get Craig C's water cleaned up for him. And it also, it proved that it reduced our chemical costs when you don't have to buy as much ferric. Hopefully it's gonna save us because lime's a lot cheaper than the ferric.
Well, 216 on, from Burnett, on,
lime for the
slurry system.
Yeah.
Okay, and I
IC's bid was 32.
Yes, sir, that bid will be 32, 480, 250. This will actually.
Okay, originally it was 105, right?
Correct.
Did everybody get the opportunity to do that, every bidder, or just a low bidder?
Just the low bidder, to my understanding.
So I see what it is.
Got some
Yes, sir.
phone calls over, we gonna get in hot water, y'all, that's the reason I'm asking this. There's people that put in this, and I don't know the answer to that, I'm asking you and Tom, we gotta be careful, are we giving everybody the same shake here?
To my understanding, or correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Smallwood, but my understanding was the low bidder was IC Contractor. Our engineers contacted them to find out if they would value engineer the low bid.
But if we gave the local bid option to the next lowest bidder, I'm just asking, and then gave them the same opportunity here, would they still be the low bidder?
That's what I want to know too. Why wasn't like Castle Construction Company allowed to do the takeout when they took out and give us another
Well,
bid
if
also?
they take out the same thing, it's still, IC's still gonna have.
Well, that's what I'm saying, are they still the lowest bidder? I mean, I don't care.
What did they take out, what are we taking that way?
That's right. All right.
And I understand exactly what you're asking. I don't have all the numbers with me tonight. What, certainly, that's a quick one to answer when I get back to the office. So you just take the 1, 2, 3 line items out, basically, on everybody, and see who's the low bidder, is what you're asking me.
So IC would still be the low bidder?
That I don't know. I need to look. I don't know. But it's easy, it's quick to look at. You know, and I can let you know.
I just want to be sure that.
Yeah, I get it. I understand the question. I understand.
You're telling me we went from 216,000
Down to 105 to 30.
we went from 105 to 32 by
Well,
taking out.
the biggest amount was that road.
$60,000
Was the road. Yeah, I'm fine with that.
But you had these other people bid on the same thing, and then they
Look,
wasn't looking
I've
out.
got a motion on the floor to accept Burnett Line Company for the feed system. That has nothing to do with what you guys
I'll
talking
second
about.
Right.
Yeah, that's fine. That's for
All right, on the line,
Line
line
system.
feed, yeah.
we have a motion by Commissioner Bezat, seconded by Commissioner Ashbrook. Any further discussion on the line? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion passes 5-0.
Now we're talking about.
But my only question was if we let IC contractors kind of like rebid on doing lesser work.
We just value engineering, I think, on Mr. Clay, isn't that what we do?
I mean, it's not a rebid, it's just striking numbers out of their, striking scope out of their bid. But,
Now, I don't have a problem with him checking on that, because Cathy Construction's price on the road might be $70,000, which you deduct that, and if they would be willing to, we don't know.
Well, that's the thing, and
All paid off. Everything's working. Buddy come get past his B test, so we see you. We congratulate you. It's a hard task.
He did what now? See?
The B test.
Oh, the beat.
Who's this?
Buddy coming.
Oh, yes. I see.
How did, Sydney, he worked for y'all?
Sydney works for us.
Did he pass it? Did he take his already?
He's got his C's. So
And he's already passed for that?
He's already passed his C's. So you got Matt, Gary with his C's, and you got Sydney with his C's, and now Buddy Company's got his B's.
Good deal, good deal.
You guys got questions for First Floor side?
you get to go home now.
Perfect.
Thanks, guys. Thank you, man. All right. What is it?
Real quick, we've already covered the golf cart deal, and you got the letter in your agenda packet about the Scott grant that was awarded, so that'll be funded from DOT. That covers Garrison Avenue, researching that road from 71 to 16th Street. Process will be in the next month or so. They'll send an agreement over to you. Y'all will approve it, send it back, they'll sign it, and then away you go to get it done. So
Clay, I did mention to Jim today that I know we're this far down the road, but I'd certainly like to see if they're gonna mill that instead of just pave over.
well, it's city's call, it's your design. So,
Okay.
yes, sir.
Okay.
And that's what we've talked about it with the staff. You know, to mill it, bring those millings to Public Works, let them use it
Yep.
for whatever they want to use it for. It's kind of a win-win. But yes,
What did you say about the village?
Typically, we mill that road and then bring those, have the contractor deliver those to 10th Street to Public Works, and then the city can use
When
them for
was that
whatever.
going to be started?
agreement's coming from DOT in the next month or so. It'll take a couple months for that. I would say spring would be a good guess.
We look at it, we don't think that's probably the best. I was thinking maybe the lime rock, maybe very sandy, very soft and so good. But we do have, we actually did like you, we got a lot of millions from the actual work going between Appalachian and St. Joe, so we're doing great.
Well, thanks for your
Kudos
work.
to Mr. Smallwood.
Glad we got that.
Yeah, appreciate y'all.
Thank you.
That was all I had.
And Clay, I would like to thank Prepland Ridge for what they're doing for us for this golf cart.
Yes, sir.
That saved us,
Thank
the community some money, and
We certainly
y'all
do
always
appreciate
seem to step up, and for that, we appreciate it.
Happy to do it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next thing is the code enforcement. If you look at your packet on page 44, you know, things that stand out to me is the increases, the unlawful accumulation, 32 units, the waste violations, 20. I mean, Richie is out there trying to do the best he can do. I don't think anybody can say he's not out there working, but I got reports every week from him that shows what he's been doing all week long, and, you know, he's only one man, but I think we need to give him our support, and, when you see him, tell him he's doing a good job, and you hope he keeps it up.
Did you ever find Reggie?
I ain't find Reggie, I got Richie, man. We done away with Reggie. Chief, you up?
Thank you, sir. I'll be quick. Update on the flashing school zone signs for 20th Street. The sheriff went to the Weewa City Council meeting last week, and they denied the request to donate us the school zone signs. So he said if they didn't put them up, he would ask again.
What I was gonna ask you is, can you, you know, maybe look into see if there may be some kind of grant
Absolutely.
for that?
We'll, I can look into that, and we'll get John to look into the price.
Right.
If there's not a grant, what it would cost us, and bring that back to you.
Grant, right? So, I got faith in you. All right, I appreciate you looking into that for us.
The second thing on our agenda is, with all that's been going on in our country, especially with law enforcement officers being killed, it's been brought to my attention that none of our police officers have bulletproof vests.
We never had them?
Well, the last time they were purchased by the police department was 2005. The life expectancy of a vest is 5 years. That's if, you know, it's not.
You don't have to explain anything. Well, whatever we need to do.
Okay.
You know.
State contract price is $810 for the vest. You get each officer 2 carriers. They're $75 a piece. You got $1,000 an officer in it. So with a new officer that you've given us, there would be 8 officers.
Is that within your budget, or we need to find the money?
It's gonna cost quite a bit for the chief to buy, but I think to me, my recommendation would buy these. We do have some money in, equipment and supplies that we can utilize out there. We don't have much money in this budget.
Let's move whatever we need to do.
So moved.
All right, I got a motion from Commissioner Brazil, a second from Commissioner Ashford. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you.
Five.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Let me ask you this.
Yes, sir.
With all that's been going on in the city, do you think that if we got 5 more, that we could get a better deal for us 5 people?
They don't get no cheaper.
But the Kevlar is a funny thing. It'll stop a bullet, but it won't stop something with a sharp point like a knife.
All right. Thank you, sir. Next we have city clerk.
Yes, sir, quick update, Ghost on the Coast. Chief Perry and his department graciously got door-to-door delivering our posters. We also included a letter inviting the community to participate in Ghost on the Coast and our Christmas parade. But we appreciate all they've done, saved us a good bit of postage, and got it out much quicker.
Have you heard anything from the chamber wanting to help with anything?
I haven't talked to anyone anywhere. But thank you all for putting.
You gotta ask them, don't you?
Yeah, I
You
guess
gotta
so.
ask the chamber, have you?
They delivered what to their door.
Miss Charlotte,
Yes, sir.
also, there's a couple of companies that I've contacted that said the candy's on the way. I will follow up with them if you don't have any for the West on the coast, like we did last year. Did they do okay last year by bringing y'all? Is that what we need, or do you need donations? What do you?
We will take whatever we can get and share it with other people in abundance.
Right, and that's, okay. So I have been in contact with at least 2 that have promised me, and I'll follow up this week.
Just ask them to bring it, deliver it, and thank you for
Bring it
it.
to City Hall.
Yes, sir. That's all I have, gentlemen, unless y'all have some questions.
All right, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Any citizens to be heard?
Any left?
I think most of them left.
What are you still doing?
All right, Commissioner Brazil, you have anything tonight?
One thing, I know I've talked enough tonight, but I just thought about, we talked about the TDC. It seems the TDC is being a little more proactive in working with the city, and we thank them for that. Jennifer Jenkins, and then I think Jim told me that she's got Billy Traylor and his crew helping us on weekends, picking up trash at the Jetty Park and so forth. Are they still doing that somewhat?
Periodically, but the main focal point was during the summer. She said they would continue to look if there's a need for it. They would.
Okay, I just want to thank them for all the help. And we use more if they give it to us. That's it.
To piggyback what Commissioner was saying about the TDC, we do, they collect a lot of tax, bad tax money in the city, and it's only right we get some of that. So, and I would also like to, Jerry Barnes was appointed to the seat on the county convention, and congratulate him, and I think I might can twist his arm a little bit. So,
Mr. Ashbrook.
I don't think there's any more to say tonight.
Mr. Thursday, I know you got something.
I just want to tell the people, and we don't have anybody left out here tonight, so I guess I can talk to you guys and talk to the camera, but this has been a heck of a week. I've talked to a lot of good people in the community over some of the situations that we've been dealing with, but everybody was very gracious, whether they agreed or they didn't agree. Once again, while we live in this great community, and that's all I have to say. Thank you.
I really don't have anything tonight other than to say that, we come together as a commission, and sometimes we agree on things, and sometimes we don't. And I just hope everybody knows if we don't agree, it don't mean I'm not your friend. I'm still your friend. I just don't agree on certain things with you. And that's just the way things go. We have to be able to agree to disagree. And I just hope everybody keeps that in mind, because no matter what happens, my friendship with these 2 guys that didn't vote my way tonight isn't going to change. They're my friends either way. And nobody's going to talk about them in front of me anyway, without me getting them straight. So, I need a motion to adjourn.